Yo, wait a minute. Hold on, folks. I have seemed to have lost my co-host. Paging Mr. Noseworthy, Mr. John Noseworthy. Will you please come to the
starting
stage?
early? I'm still in wardrobe and makeup.
Dude.
I gotta let my
producer Go finish. Go finish.
All right, I think we're ready.
Right, folks.
Yeah, he's starting early today. All right, are we good? All right, thanks. Okay, all right. Hey,
Nice.
my production team has approved my on-camera whatever. That's
You're
all
looking
I got.
dapper. You're looking dapper today,
Thanks.
my friend. So I
Thanks.
commend your crew and all of the production staff that goes into making
they
you
just
happen.
pressed this T-shirt. They just unwrapped this hat from Etsy. I'm feeling pretty good.
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
All right. Welcome to Weeks In, everybody. This is episode number 63.
Yes, 63. It's Friday. It's still nice out. The sun's out. I got no complaints.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here, and I've been in front of a pane of glass way too much today, yesterday, the day before that. So I'm going outside after this.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna go get the trailer because we're going riding ATVs tomorrow. Yeah.
I do want to say something really quick. I was at a in-person tech conference this week.
It's wild. I honestly couldn't even believe it happened. I was like giddy over here, stuck in my office, watching you out there doing the soch on social media and absolutely owning that show and doing some really cool stuff. It was great to see it. I got to tell you.
Yeah,
it was nice to have you out there.
Good to get back out there and do the search because
yes, the world nature is healing, and Ryan is finally back in his natural habitat.
There was lots of social distancing. They checked vaccine cards. They did all the right things. So hat tip to Todd Lewis at All Things Open here in Raleigh. Got to reconnect with a lot of IBMers and Red Hatters and all kinds of people in open source. It was cool.
Nice. That's really cool.
Let's get into it. We want to talk about TV today. And it seems like there's this show that's like taking the internets by storm. But what's it all about?
Well, so this is one of those shows where first of all, I didn't hear about it till it became sort of talked about on social media. I really didn't know anything about it. And I just kind of waited and waited. I have this tendency to kind of wait till the hype dies down. And this is one of those cases where I did that. I definitely did it with shows like Lower Decks. I mean, I had people who were just like, what's wrong with you, dude? You got to watch this show. Right. And so Squid Game is one of those. It was one of those shows where like I was sitting around, I think it was, I don't know, the other night. And, oh, wait, no, actually it was last night. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Time has no definition.
Time has no definition. I think it was last night. And I was originally going to watch Dune, but, my neighbor must have figured out we went live because he just fired up his leaf blower. And so I just figured, you know what, I'm going to check this show out because we didn't watch Doom. We're going to watch it tonight. And oh my God, is Squid Game incredible. Folks, if you have not watched this show yet, now I'm only 3 episodes in, and oh my God, is it good. I admit I'm watching it with the English dubbing, not in the original Korean with the subtitles. I have done a little bit of switching back and forth because I want to hear their original voices, but it's a phenomenal program. It's definitely an interesting metaphor about the dangers of being trapped by debt in our society. Well, in Korean society, but really any society, I suppose. But it's a fascinating program. So if you have not seen this series, it's on Netflix. No, I am not compensated by Netflix because I talk about them so much. I highly recommend you watch it. Ryan, have you seen it?
Netflix plug of the day. All right. No, I have not. So I, like you, was wondering about the hype and was kind of holding back a little bit because it's all anything, everybody's talking about it on social, but I don't know. I do this thing where I watch horror movies every day in the month of October. So I've been busy.
Yep.
But I do have it in my queue, and I guess if you twist my arm, I guess I have to watch it. I don't know.
I think you should. So here's the commitment I think we should make to the Weeksenders, and I'm certainly making it to you, is I think that and this is the episode I'm on right now, by the way. I am right on that one. I think that we should both commit to watching Dune by next week, and we should both commit to watching Squid Game, or at least starting it. Give it a shot, and let's see how it goes. We'll talk a little bit more in depth. Certainly, we can't discuss or disclose any Dune spoilers this week. And I've been avoiding it like crazy on the Soch. But when it comes to Squid Game, it's fair game. That series is done, so we can certainly get into spoilers of that next week. And I think we should. I think we should, good sir.
All right, I accept your challenge, and I definitely am going to watch Dune for sure. I started it last night, but it's like a 3-hour movie, and I started it late, so it didn't happen.
I know, because we're in our 40s and we fall asleep by 8. But I'm hoping I have the endurance to watch it tonight.
Yeah. All right. So I want to talk about one show I did watch. I decided I had to watch this before Dune and before Squid Game. Let's get in. We're going to talk about some DC stuff today, but Titans season 3 finale was this week. And here's a quick screenshot of them. Like, well, spoiler alert, like the Titans had to like break into Wayne Manor because it had been taken over by Dr. Crane, who is, of course, the Scarecrow from the Villains Gallery. But this is just it's a surprise that this show, like going into 3 seasons, is so satisfying. I mean, first of all, the music in this show, I want to buy the soundtrack to this show. It's a lot of throwbacks to the 70s and 80s and 90s and stuff, but it's really satisfying. It's a dark, gritty. It's a hard R. I mean, the number of F-bombs that were dropped in the season finale.
No kidding.
It's incredible.
Where do you watch it? What platform?
You watch it on HBO Max. It started out, you know, when DC created like their DC Universe streaming service that like never went anywhere. It started out there. So did Doom Patrol. They've now, all of the DC properties, of course, are on HBO Max. So it's easy.
I
easy
forgot
to find.
about that. Yep.
So I don't know. I've become like this DC fanboy. I've always been a fan of Batman, but this is all of the other characters that I frankly didn't read about growing up, including Nightwing, who's kind of like the leader of the group. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So that's that.
You know what? I started watching Titans and I couldn't believe how gritty and violent it was. I was really surprised.
Right. Well, it's cool.
Pleasantly.
And the other thing is, like,
I like grit.
According to the nerds, I follow this guy, Dan Hacker, at Dan Hacker on Twitter. He's a super comic book nerd like me, here in Durham, North Carolina. He said, I mean, he's telling me Nightwing, the comic book, is like the best book in the in the DC universe right now. So check that out. He's got a new uniform. Cool stuff. So let's talk about DC fandom for a moment, because that happened last Saturday and I caught bits and pieces of it. I know you did too.
Yeah, I did too.
But we just wanted to hone in on a couple of specific things here. And really all we want to talk about is Batman, of course. So we're just going to talk about Batman. So it was a surprise to no one, but they sort of ended the whole 3 or 4 hour spectacle on revealing a new trailer for the film. I was going to lobby to have my rant of the week be about this, not about the trailer. The trailer was like jaw-droppingly awesome.
Jaw-droppingly awesome.
I'm still so mad that now that I've committed to this film, I'm down with it. I'm down with Pattinson or Patman or whatever we're calling him now. I'm down with it all. But look, I want to see this film and I don't want to wait till March, because March seems like 27 years from now to me.
Yeah, but it's not. It'll get there quickly. And I think that this movie experienced a lot of delays due to COVID. I think they're working on still getting it wrapped up. Why do I see Martin Scorsese on the
This is one of my favorite memes. There's this is cinema. So there's lots of universal praise for the Batman trailer. So it was good. So what was your favorite part of this trailer? I mean, why was it so satisfying for you?
So the whole thing looked great. I love the idea of the Riddler as a serial killer. As soon as I saw the green on the mug, I knew it was the Riddler. My favorite part was when the Penguin is yelling, "I got you, I got you," and then the Batmobile, which looks like some souped up Dodge Charger, which is incredibly cool, comes bursting out of the flames, slams into the car, and then he is walking slowly toward him and you see the words for him. I mean, that was the point where I was just like, And I think you're right what you're saying here, that it's got Blade Runner vibes. It feels darker than 89. Dude, I'm really pumped about this movie. I think that it's going to be the darkest, grittiest, violentest, however you want to describe it, take on the franchise yet, and I'm all for it. So I'm just worried about Batman's parents. I have this feeling something happened to them. We don't know yet.
Only time will tell, really. I mean,
but remember what we learned about this movie, which is the rumor, I haven't had it confirmed yet, is that what forms the bat symbol on his chest is the pieces of the gun that was used to kill his parents. Spoiler alert.
I think you might be
that
right.
is that's awesome.
I also know that the bat
how
symbol,
do you think of that?
If you look at the shape of the bat symbol, it's sort of like there's these nerds that show they compare all of the uniforms or the suits of Batman throughout the years, all the way back to the 30s. Somebody did that with the bat symbols as well, and this bat symbol looks very true to the original from way back.
Yeah, the other thing I noticed, speaking of the bat suits, was there's a scene where it's in the dark and they're firing automatic weapons at him, and it's kind of timed with the music. Really cool part of the trailer. It looked to me like he's wearing that heavy suit that he wears in The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
Because he was sort of lumbering through, and they're firing these automatic weapons at him, and it's bouncing off. And I think, and there was a name for that suit too, and I can't remember the name of it from that book. I have it here somewhere, but I think he's wearing that. So, man, I just, it was one of those trailers where I watched it multiple times. I was like, everybody's got to watch this, and sat the family down, showed them, you know what I mean? I honestly, I think it looks fantastic. Fantastic.
It was good. Well, speaking of fantastic, I am now the proud owner of my very first NFT. I minted this bad boy. I got it from DC Fandom. It features original art of, I guess, an alternate version of Wonder Woman, which is a new book, Newbie and the Amazons. I'm really excited, Graeme. I am cool. I am in Web3 now. It's awesome. What do you think?
Congratulations, Ryan. You've arrived.
I'm cool now, right?
You are cool now. That was what it took. That's what it took. You weren't cool before. Now you are.
Well, I'm just going to say here that, I mean, if they're handing out NFTs, man, I'm going to take it. I'm taking it. Now I got a whole collection.
Sure.
Yeah. I got a whole collection.
Great. So your name is in a database somewhere. Congratulations.
I'm going places. Now they know. Yep. Wait, DC.
You can't have the Mona Lisa, but you can have a poster of it. And your
DC on the blockchain. Somewhere. Who would have thought it? Let's talk about hardware. We got three hardware stories now.
Yeah.
The first one, I was wondering, just where did you find this? So let me put this up on the screen really quick.
I bet I know what's coming. Yeah.
Dude,
so look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Feast your eyes. So this thing is just beautiful. So this is a double-sided Walkman that you could use to copy cassettes back in the day. And this is one of those things where I feel like devices nowadays, and this is arguable, but they lack the artistic aesthetic that we had in some of these devices that had buttons and switches and motors and all different connections. I mean, you look at something like this, and this is not as attractive as that. So by the way, good luck, you can actually find these on eBay. They're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But there's this thing I've been kind of getting into with retro tech is how beautiful some of these pieces were. And you can almost, it was funny, I was thinking about how cool it would be to have a exhibit in a museum where these are the things that are on the pedestals and are displayed, and you have this really awesome retro tech exhibit. Because I mean, look at this thing, man. And I understand it's open, but even when it's closed, the colors, we don't have enough color. Okay, actually, that sounds ridiculous because you can get iPhones in colors. You can get these phones in colors. I don't mean one color for the shell. I'm talking about the whole thing. So I don't know. I saw that this week. I shared it. I thought it was a particularly beautiful piece. And
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that because this
think
gives
about what
me,
this stuff all looked like when we were younger, right? It was
you're
really
right.
beautiful
Well,
stuff.
here's the other point. There's something to be said by the sort of the tactile feedback.
Well,
I
that
mean,
too.
one of
That's
the
a good
cool
point.
things is somebody was talking about tech at the conference earlier, and they mentioned like how many people in the audience have mechanical keyboards. And when I say I was with my people, 80% of the people in the audience raised their hands.
Yeah, I believe that. It's funny. A couple of months ago, I looked into buying. I just don't have the space for it on this stand-up desk that I have. But if this stuck out a little further, I was going to order a keyboard that had like colored keys on it. So like different keys were red or blue. Not every key, but like the escape key, the enter key. Had a couple of different keys on it. My friend Kevin Hoffman connected me with a company that makes keyboards. And then I found out that there's this like whole subculture for keyboards, and for designing keyboards and for keys that covers that go over the keys and all these things. And I started looking back at devices from IBM and all these things, and there were a lot of colored buttons and switches, and I just think we've gotten away from that. I'm not saying it has to be gaudy and ridiculous.
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
But I mean, think about that, folks. So like, I'm looking. I've got a Lenovo ThinkPad here that I run my life off of, and it has no color, it has no action, it has no character. And I think that when those devices had more, yes, yup, that's super cool.
All right,
more.
That's all I got.
I'm running for president of the universe, and my platform is more colored keys. Yep, I just made that announcement now.
I endorse and approve that message.
Well,
I'm with you because like I want to bring this. I want to bring this image back up for one moment. Like, it's not just the tactile feedback. It's that, you remember when you were a teenager and you're listening to music and you're like trying to get away from your sister, trying to get away from your parents, and like you could like sit in the dark, or you could sit outside, or you could do whatever, and you knew exactly where the buttons were. You didn't need to even look at the device. It could be in your pocket.
You did not need to look at it. And you knew it. Word, right? And it moved. It was alive. And you had to take the tapes in and out. And just the act of, I mean, dude, remember, how awesome was it when you slammed a tape into your Walkman and you shut it, right? It had that like clunk. It had that like feeling. Yeah. And that was a good feeling. I think we're aging ourselves as a couple of old men here. Now, look, I mean, I love my Super Tech. I've got a Super Tech truck, and I've got Super Tech phone, and here we are on the hyperglobal mega internets doing our live broadcast. But I'm just saying that the all around experience of those devices had far less functionality and maybe even audio quality, but I just think the experience with them was better. So,
well, speaking of,
now let's talk about what is arguably the coolest new exciting announcement in Bluetooth technology. Folks, if you're looking, this is real, by the way, no joke. If you're looking for an awesome phone, you got to play it.
I'm playing it. I'm just trying to get around the Google sensors.
You're smart, man. So do you remember this phone from when we were kids?
Totally.
When we were but when our kids were kids, right? So that is a real thing. They made the chatter phone as a Bluetooth phone, which I just think is hilarious. And I was saying how funny it would be to roll into a Starbucks, like a really busy Starbucks, right? And sit down and like take a call on that. So please, Weeksenders, if you do pick up a version of the Bluetooth chatter phone, do me a favor and get yourself into Starbucks and take a phone call on this thing, because man, I need to see that. So.
I want to say this probably was my first mobile phone. I think
it was.
The other thing is,
it's probably in your parents' attic.
I'm gonna say with relative confidence that this looks like a newer version, but I'm pretty sure we probably have one of these in our attic.
I bet you do.
All right, challenge accepted. I got to go find my first mobile phone.
All right, I love it.
I love it too. All right, let's get into robots, because we love robots, and we had this conversation. I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, 2-3 shows
we did
ago.
Talk about
we
were
talking about like, what is your favorite droid, or more to the point, what kind of droid do you want? What do you want it to do? And lo and behold, there seems to be like an announcement of sorts about a droid from Samsung. So what is this all about?
Yeah, so Samsung is putting out this little mini robot. It's kind of like your personal BB-8. It's called Bali, and I just fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. I think it's really cute. I just like the fact that it kind of follows you around. That right there, I'm already in. Now, if you really think about it, it's a little creepy that it's like cameras and cameras and more cameras that follows you around. So
right.
maybe that, like, I don't know if we need that, but especially what it just showed there, that was a little creepy. I am a big fan of corgis, so I can't have a corgi, but I would love to have a Bali. And I don't know, man, I just think that the more and more we get into some of these little smart devices that follow you around. What was the name of that toy? Sphero? Was it Sphero?
Yes.
And Josh when he used to work at IBM did.
Oh well, I have that right over my shoulder. I have the
you
BB-8
have that
right over here. I also have the
yes.
R2D2 version from Sphero. Now that's what I was going to say is like I actually like worked with Josh to like rewrite that so that you could use voice commands instead of like the headset thing, because he was doing like legit
yes, it was like came around here.
like
yes.
Jedi mind tricks where he was like using brain waves, which was super cool, but not very practical in practice.
No.
But yeah, really cool stuff. But my whole point here, though, is there's a creepy versus magic continuum here. That you're right. Like, what is this for? Back to our original question a couple of weeks ago. Like, what do you need this for? Is it simply to be a phone in the shape of a ball that's just going to like tell you tips or like listen to your
I'll tell you.
let
me get to the heart of it. Is if you think about what our generation grew up with, right? Which was Knight Rider. You could have a full on conversation with Kit. Kit was alive. Then we had Star Trek, right? Where you're talking to the computer and you have data and you're talking to the android, and you've got R2 where it's like R2 is your little friend, and C3PO. Well, C3PO was more like a artificial human, right? But you have, so our generation grew up on this notion of like these electronic friends. And I mean, I want an electronic friend, but I'm not talking about just like, oh, cool little robot that follows me around. Like, I would love to be able to, and I've said this many times and I understand how lonely and sad it sounds, but I don't mean it that way. I would like to be able to have a full-on conversation with my car, not press the button and call home, calling home. But I mean, like, get into it and be like, good morning, Titan. Set the temperature to 68.
What's going on with my torque when I was pulling through that parking lot doing donuts?
Yes.
That would be cool. I like that.
I just think that, like, I can push a button and it'll call a person, but I don't want to do that.
That's just, I mean, honestly, that's just a proxy for talking to your phone. That's really not, it's not doing something for you. It's collecting data about you. So that's
that too.
So that's a good point. I like that. So I'm down for it. I do think when you talk about this creepy versus magic factor, though, when you go somewhere like CES and you see who's like innovating in this space, like you kind of see a use case, but we're just not there yet in a lot of cases. So I'm interested to see what happens here.
I am too.
So are you buying the Bali? Like, are you like sold and you want to test it out?
I don't know yet. I'd like to see one. So I'm hoping I'll see one at CES, but I would like to. I mean, arguably all I saw was that video, and it was just this notion of it following me around, and I was like, "I love you, Bali." So I need to actually examine it. But
so if it factor here that you're into, okay, I get it.
Yes, like if it legitimately follows me around and it'll like hang out with me during the day while I'm stuck in this office for 8 to 10 hours a day, like that'd be kind of cool. But we'll see. If all it does is follow you around creepy and take pictures, like no.
Right. We don't need another camera just documenting our lives. That's
and that's probably what it is. It's probably just another information, data, photo, and sound gathering spy device.
It's a portal to your galaxy.
Another Bezos bot, if you will. But like, I don't need that. So we'll see what's up.
You might have to get some NFTs, man, to manage. I don't know. Anyway, I think it's time, Graeme. You've got a hot one today. Let's go.
I do have a hot one. So, folks, as you and I both know, Facebook is is just a fucking mess, right? Like, I'm sorry to put it that way, but let's be honest, it really is. And then with a whistleblower, certainly we learned a lot, all this notion about Instagram and all these different things, and we know it's basically a hell site, right? Like, I mean, it's not really contributing positively to humanity, no matter how much they want to talk about everybody being connected. And so they think that to solve the problems, they're going to start doing these ad campaigns, which are really kind of ridiculous. Watch for the commercials, you'll see them. And so they put out a new ad campaign, and now they think that the biggest thing they can do to save their brand is change the name. Like, that's not going to help. So this whole notion of solving problems by simply running away from them is ridiculous. Not to mention the notion that they just put this ad campaign in market. Now they're going to change the name. So now they have to go back and change all that creative. I'm a marketer. That's a nightmare. So all I'm saying is my rant of the week is very simple. It's like, Facebook, change your name. It ain't going to fix anything. It's not going to help. Like, you're a train wreck, and until you get rid of Zuck and get rid of that guy and break up those properties and let them function independently, or maybe even get some federal regulation going for social media, like, you got big problems. So that's it. That's my rant of the week. I just don't think that changing the name is going to fix anything, and I thought that was a ridiculous announcement.
100% right. And I will also contend that when you split an app or you rename the app or you do whatever, it never works. There's never a positive revelation. Think about what happened to Foursquare. Think about what happened to almost any platform you can imagine that was one time popular, had a bump in the road, decided they needed to strategize it, and what happened?
Please, what a joke. What a joke.
So let's not do that. All right, folks, that's our show. We're at 26 minutes, and we're going to give you what we call in the biz 3 minutes back to your day. Nice. So that you can actually get started on your weekend now that you've enjoyed your week's end. All right, folks. Thanks, Graeme. As always,
by the way, I like how your headset's changing color during this.
I know, man. I've got the RBG color combinations. I'm trying to see if it actually has 16 million different color variations or not. We'll see one day.
I'm very impressed.
All right. Peace out, folks. We'll see you next week on the week.
As you were, good sir. As you were.
Yes. Bum, 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 bum.